Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today what we're going to talk about is the ESSE Junglas. Stick around. Alright guys, so the ESSE Junglas or Junglas, depending on how you want to say it, was made by ESSE Knives. I'm a big fan of ESSE Knives. Even prior to me making my own blades, I was a collector of ESSE. I have quite a few of them. Maybe I'll show them off. Rowan, I guess, is the manufacturer of these blades. Is a very large, stout blade. This is a very large survival knife, I guess you would say. The blade length is about 10 and a quarter inch. It is 1095 and it will rust. As you can see, I didn't really take care of this after I went out. My objective was to clear trails. I am a hunter. I go out hunting every year, and every summer or spring I need to go to the woods to make sure that that blind is still up and available for me to use. Now, the blind was in pretty bad shape. I had 3 trees fall over on top of it. If you guys don't know, I do hunt in the Adirondack Mountains, and winters are pretty brutal. So I'm pretty sure due to the winter snowfall and the water from the rainfall and the high winds, a lot of trees are going to topple down. So that's what I did. I took this out to test it out. There are a couple things that I liked about this and a couple things I didn't like about this, but I'll talk about that at the end of the video. This is a 1095 blade. Like I said, it will rust on you. It does have a very large flat grind, but it's not all the way to the top. My Carter scales are excellent on this. I could really choke up on this, and it does have a very generous lanyard hole in the back. Also a palm striker, if you will. One of the things that really surprised me about this knife was actually the sheath was amazing. This is a Kydex sheath that comes with it, and this thing was awesome. I'm a big fan of Kydex. You guys know I make my own knives and my own Kydex. This is a very good package set up as is. I will drop a link down below if you're interested in this knife. It does come with a snap. It comes with MOLLE attachments if you want to attach it to a pack, which is kind of ideal. It's not too big that you couldn't put it on your belt, and it's not too heavy. That's one of the things I liked about it, and one of the things that I didn't like about it, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video. I do have what's called a little parasite knife on there. This is the ESSE Azula. It's a very, very small knife, and what I do with this is I just leave it on there for small tasks. Very small. I just use Chicago screws, and I put it on here as well. But my knives, or the way I use knives, is typically going to be for trail clearing, campfires. I'm not primarily a bushcrafter, but for survival. If I get turned around in the woods, I want something like this. If my car breaks down and I have to hoof it all the way back home, I want something like this. I'm not really sitting in the woods for hours and hours doing a lot of bushcraft skills, but you can do that with this knife. So fairly impressed with it. For the price point, you're getting a really good package. Again, I'll put the links down below, but what I want to do is I want to roll the footage and then we'll talk about it at the end, so stay tuned. Hey guys, doing a little trail prep here. So it is, I'm at my hunting spot, and it is June, July? It's almost July, it's the end of June. And typically what I like to do is come up here during the summer, see what kind of stuff fell down. Mostly the trees. I hunt in the Adirondack Mountains, which means a lot of storms, a lot of cold weather, and again, stuff like this happens all the time. So trees fall down. Because this is all mountains, we like to get as clear as possible and get all this stuff out of the way. There are deer up here. Obviously it's not deer season, so I don't have to worry about it. But I did take out my ESSE Junglas. All right, so I brought out my ESSE Junglas. I'm gonna try this out today. I like to test out a couple knives other than my own. just to see if maybe I'm missing something. See what other brand makers are doing. I got a saw, some water, firearm, that kind of thing. It is raining and wet out, which is not terrible, but I'm just gonna go ahead and start clearing some trail. Not so much to look out for the stuff that's on the ground, but look up to, because there's a lot of dead standing. And dead standing means that once we get our first snowfall or heavy rainfall, they could fall down on you. Also, the eye pokers. I'm not a big fan of eye pokers. That means if you're riding your four-wheeler and you're riding your four-wheeler and then you get one right in the eye, it kind of sucks. So I'm trying to clear out a lot of that stuff as well. Eye pokers or eye gougers. Alright, so this is typically my blind. It looks like the weather really did get to it. I knew it was only a matter of time, but thank God no one was in it. It seems pretty safe. We're gonna have to fix it. Yeah, so this tree came down right here, smacked the end of that blind, knocked down all of this. Look at the trees in the back. Trees in the back came down. It's completely destroyed. Wow, that's a big one. So here's my blind, what's left of it. But that's okay. That's all right. We're gonna fix it today with the ESSE. seemed to have done his job. So, no longer a viable option. Ripped, beat up, and these sticks are good, but I don't want them in my shooting lane, so they're gonna have to come out. There you go. So all I'm gonna do is just cut this wire, no problem. Yeah, that's what I figured. Stuff it up on the outside, make it look a little different than what it's supposed to look like. Alright, so this thing's about 4 inches. You can see the tree fell down. It actually adds support to the wall, so I'm not going to take the whole wall down. This bottom piece is excellent. I'm going to leave that there. I'm just going to cut it off at the end. This piece, however, the Y in the tree is right in direct contact with my shooting. So if I wanted to shoot with a bow or a rifle, sometimes they come down this way. I can't do it because of this piece. So I'm going to cut this one off, leave this one. All right. Hungless, all right, again, this is what I use knives for. They're not showcases, all right? So I'm just gonna cut this one off up here. See how long it takes. I should have added a lanyard, sorry. But I did not. Getting some pretty good chips. So if you're in a survival situation, I don't suggest you doing that because it'll wear out your arm. All right guys, so I did a ton of work. I've been out here for about 6 hours now. Cutting, cleaning, getting rid of all the trees, chopping up some new flooring. I don't know if you see in there, some nice flooring. I know it's just logs and eventually it'll rot, but at least it's something to get me off the floor. The soft moss and duff, all that stuff is no good when you're trying to sit in a chair. It just sinks to the ground. So those are seasonal logs. I'll have to replace them when needed. Not a big deal, but as you can see, I also cleaned up the forest. Got some really nice game trails over here, some shooting trails, some shooting lanes over here and over there, and also some over here. Kind of hard to see, but this is kind of where I come in from down the mountain, come back here and come over here. But I also have a trail back there, and I cleaned up as much as I could around the block. So this way when I come back up, I have a place to sit, which is nice and comfortable. Doesn't have to be crazy. There is no overhead protection anymore because the tarp broke off, but that's okay. It was almost a hindrance because it does make a lot of noise and it blows around a lot and the animals don't like it. All right guys, so I hope you really enjoyed that. What I'm going to talk about is the things that I liked. What I liked about this blade is that the handle is super ergonomic and comfortable. I have extra large hands, and as you can see, I have quite a few blisters, and even with gloves, it was pretty decent. It's not overly heavy, all right? So that makes it a very lightweight knife, which is good and bad. Typically, what I use knives for is for chopping methods, either to make shelter or, as you saw in the video, to clear trails. That's not everybody. Everybody uses these knives for a little bit different. What I like about a large blade, especially a large fixed blade, is I want the blade to do the work itself. I don't want to constantly have to force my arm and shoulder into that heavy impact. I want the heaviness on the blade, sort of like an axe. Axe has a very heavy spot up front with a nice light wooden handle, and what that allows you to do is the inertia brings it down and chips the wood out. Now on the cross swing, it was excellent because again, it's lightweight, but it doesn't have that heaviness that I'm looking for. It's sort of like a really hot girl, with just not enough ass. You guys know what I'm talking about. The flat grind was very good for general cutting and general camp chores, but for me, I want a convex edge because it actually pushes the wood out of the way. So I would prefer a convex edge as opposed to a flat grind or a partial flat grind, which this is. I know there's a lot of people that take the traction coating off. That's to each his own. What I look for in a blade is if I have something about the size of my finger or thumb, I want to swing it and have it come off in one shot. I don't want to hit it multiple times. As you see in the picture, I had about a 4-inch log that was leaning over my blind, and I had to switch hands because I got tired of chopping. The blade edge overall did retain its sharpness all the way through, although it does need to be touched up. 1095 is excellent for that. Again, just a little bit of stoning and you're good to go. Not really that bad for any of the wear on this blade, but again, for me, I wanted something a little bit more heavy. I will continue to use this knife, not a big deal. But those are some of the things to keep in mind. I only used it for a day, maybe 6-7 hours to clear trails. Your mileage may vary depending on how you're going to use this knife. Again, like I said before, the sheath is outstanding. I did find that while I was wearing it, that snap in there allowed me to not use these straps at all. And a lot of times when I did use the straps, let me just snap it in for you. I wound up grabbing the knife and getting it stuck in there. So the retention was really good. As you can see, all the black on that button did come off, and that's because of me constantly grabbing it and of course using it in the woods as it's supposed to be used. Again, you don't need the strap, so I would almost take the strap off or latch it behind here and just use the Kydex on your belt and just easy in, easy out. I don't want to mess with buttons or straps or anything like that. So it was excellent. And again, like I said, this is an excellent sheath. It's not falling out on you. All right, guys, so that's it. This is my ESSE Junglas or Junglas, depending on how you like to say it. I'm a big fan of it. Again, to each his own. I would definitely recommend this to anybody who is a bushcrafter or someone that wants to go out into the forest. For the price point that you're getting this thing for is pretty outstanding with the whole package. You can choose to get ESSE pouches. ESSE does have pouches that you can put like a little survival tin in there. I chose to go with the little parasite knife, ESSE Azuler. That's just me. And I would recommend this. So what I need you guys to do, if you like this video, is to give me the thumbs up and become a subscriber. Also, check out the link below because I'm going to drop the Amazon link to this. And if you purchase something from me, then I'm going to get 2 cents on the dollar. But yeah, excellent blade. Please go to threeriverblades.com. Check out all the great knives that I have up there. Also, Three River Kydex if you're interested in a custom-made holster, knife sheath, or pouch. Get on the mailing list. Go to threeriverblades.com. Go all the way down to the bottom. First name, last name, and your email address. That's the only place that I'm going to send discount codes. Also become a Patreon. Thank you very much, guys. And as always, please stay safe.